And go.
My name is Lena Dunham, and I'm a filmmaker and a writer, and I am currently talking to you in my office, which is sort of a cubicle at the back of my mom's studio, but it makes me happy. It's just as much space as I need to do what I do, which is write and make movies. And right now I've been in the process of editing a feature film that I finished shooting at the end of December called Tiny Furniture, which is sort of an autobiographical romantic comedy narrative about a girl who has just graduated from college and is coming home, and kind of the struggle to reintegrate herself into her life in New York after 4 years at liberal arts college, which is hopefully something that
so like maybe a life story.
Okay. So maybe like all our life story. Not everyone's. I mean, I guess the critiques you throw at it are it's a little like Felicity Part 2 or something. But I'm having a lot of fun, and I'm very close to having a picture lock on the film, which is infinitely exciting. I have been making films for about it'll be 4 years this summer since I made my first film, and I've made a number of shorts and 2 web shows, and this will be my second feature, and I do it all in a pretty low budget way, so I feel lucky that sometimes that's a challenge to do things with no money, but I also feel lucky because it means I've gotten to experiment a lot and create a lot and kind of build up a lot of content. This project has been consuming me for, I guess, about 3 months, and will probably consume me for another year, but before that, I was working pretty intensely on a project called Delusional Downtown Divas, which is a web series and sort of comedy performance troupe that consists of me writing and directing, and then it stars my friends Joanna Avalez and Isabel Halley, and is shot and edited by my friend Sarah Rosane, and we make videos that sort of, would say lovingly roast the art world and kind of look at the phenomenon of people who want to be famous for the sake of fame, like the Paris Hiltons of the art world. And that was tremendously fun and gave us the opportunity to show our work in a lot of different contexts. We hosted the first annual Art Awards at the Guggenheim Museum this year, which was a wild experience to remember, and we've also released work on the web. We made a strange appearance at like a Tate Modern event at Haunch of Venison, eating a cake on a stage. Like, we've gotten to do a lot of really fun things through that project. But then it's nice, after doing those comedy shorts, to kind of return to long-form filmmaking and to something that's a little bit more multi-layered and dramatic and isn't as much just like a farce or a satire. It's an interesting time in my life as a filmmaker, because I'm getting to work, but I'm not yet in a position to kind of truly sustain myself, my life financially off of this profession. So I guess when I think about, I feel really lucky that I'm getting the chance to do this, and my upcoming goals would be to figure out a way in kind of this new, I think all filmmakers are trying to figure out in the new economy how they're going to sustain their filmmaking practice, because the old models of distribution and even of production don't really make sense anymore. But,
right.
So I'm excited to be part of a generation of people who are kind of hopefully redefining a little bit how one can make a living at that. And the reason that I make movies is hard. It's I always really loved writing. I always really loved acting. I always really loved fashion. I kind of was one of those kids who was I'm going to be an actress, a fashion designer, a writer, and a and a theater director, and a modern dancer. And making movies is the only thing that I've found that combines all of my loves into, because you get to be creatively involved with so many different parts of a process. I feel there's a part where you're solitary and you're writing a screenplay on your own, and that's fulfills the part of me that just wants to kind of be an Emily Dickinson, locked in the attic, and then, you have your whole phase of casting, which brings in, kind of this amazing experience of forming these new relationships with all of these people, production design, costume design, and then editing, which is almost like sewing or something, and I love how collaborative it is, because there's a lot of art making that can be really lonely, and so even though it's a challenge to collaborate, filmmaking is very social. And I do think to myself, why sometimes, because especially when you make something autobiographical, you kind of risk people going, well, why should we care about this? And I guess my biggest hope when I make these sort of like narcissistic things is that like part of whatever story I'm telling would appeal to someone else and kind of like touch on a nerve with them, because for me it's been incredibly valuable in my life to watch movies that reflect my own experience, especially like my experience of being female. So my biggest hope for this new film would be that it would resonate with other people, but especially other women, I think, and hopefully like make them laugh, but also make them recognize some of their own travails, because it's been very therapeutic for me to make it.
Definitely. Well, thanks, Lena.
Thank you, Legacy. It's nice to see you.